Hello students, welcome to science class. Chapter 15, Air Around Us. So in previous videos you have learned many things about air. So let's continue chapter 15, Air Around Us, part 4. See, today's our topic is how is the oxygen in the atmosphere replaced? You know that in world many people, many animals, many plants, means many living things are there. They all breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. So have you ever think this much oxygen we use every day? So how this oxygen in the atmosphere replaced by carbon dioxide? You know that we take in oxygen and we take out carbon dioxide, so it is quite obvious only, no? So the amount of carbon dioxide will increase in atmosphere. So have you ever think how is the oxygen in the atmosphere replaced? So you know about photosynthesis. So in this process plants make their own food and oxygen is produced along with it. That you know, because in photosynthesis plant use carbon dioxide and release oxygen. So plants also consume oxygen for respiration, but they produce more of it than they consume. It means plant consume oxygen for respiration and they produce oxygen after photosynthesis. It means they produce more of it than they consume. That is why we say plants produce oxygen. So it is obvious that animals cannot live without plants. So the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is maintained through respiration in plants and animals, and by the photosynthesis in plants, we can say. It means that mainly the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in atmosphere is maintained through respiration in plants and animals and by photosynthesis in plant. So this shows the interdependence of plants and animals. So the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is maintained through respiration in plants and animals and by photosynthesis in plants. How? So plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis and utilize oxygen during respiration, two things. So they produce much more oxygen during photosynthesis than they consume during respiration. Remember, the plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis and utilize oxygen during respiration, and they produce much more oxygen during photosynthesis than they consume during respiration. So this is how the oxygen consumed by plants and to a large extent by animals is replenished in the air through photosynthesis. Now you say that what is the difference between breathing and respiration? So breathing is the physical process by which living beings take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. And respiration involves the physical process of breathing and chemical process by which energy is compound like glucose and broken down with the help of absorbed oxygen, that you will learn in 7th standard. So we can appreciate how important air is for life on the earth. See, now natural balance. As I told you, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between plants and animals, because see that animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, and that same carbon dioxide plants use for the process of photosynthesis, and they produce oxygen during photosynthesis, and that same oxygen again that animals will breathe in and they breathe out carbon dioxide. It means we can say that the interdependence of plants and animals in each other. See, now this is uses of air. Are there any other uses of air? You know, see, there are various uses of air. Various uses are there of the air. See, one by one we know that first of all this is the atmosphere, okay. So the atmosphere protect all living beings from the harmful effect of ultraviolet radiation of the sun. You know that the sun, from the sun, ultraviolet rays directly come on the earth, and because of that atmosphere only UV rays, we can say ultraviolet rays cannot come directly to the earth. So it means we can say that atmosphere protect us from the ultraviolet radiation of the earth. Yes, and one more thing, air helps in the transmission of sound waves. Without air we cannot hear. Many string instruments also are wind based. See, air helps in the transmission of sound waves. It means without air we cannot hear. When we speak anything, so our that sound waves will travel with the air, and it reaches to the ears. So then only they can hear. It means we can say without air we cannot hear. And many string instruments also are wind based, like flute. So this type of many string instruments are there. They are wind based. See, now one more thing. Now air helps in the movement of parachute, aeroplanes, sailboats, gliders and all. See, have you ever seen this parachute? Parachute also, movement of the parachute also possible because of that air only. Now movement of plane, movement of sailboats, that everything. It means we can say air helps in the movement of parachute, aeroplane, sailboats, and moving air also helps in the dispersal of seed and pollen grains. In previous lessons you have learn only about that dispersal of seeds and transmission of pollen grains. Yes, no, if air is not there, what will happen? Air dispersal is not possible, no, and transmission of pollen grains also not possible. So we can say moving air is helps in the dispersal of seeds and pollen grains. See, now this is windmill. Now the wind makes the windmill rotate. The windmill is, it is used to draw water from the tube wells and to run floor mills. Then windmill are also used to generate electricity. Air helps in the movement of sailing yachts, gliders, parachute and aeroplanes and many things. So air is used to run windmills. The vanes of the windmill are turned by the moving air, which in turn generate power, and this power is used to run various machines which work on electricity. For example, floor mills and machines used for drawing underground water. Then oxygen cylinders. Have you ever seen oxygen cylinders are used in hospitals? in that also oxygen we need. Now nitrogen also use for making fertilizers for plant. It means we can say many. Now some birds, bats and insects also can fly due to the presence of air only. Without air, that birds and other insects also cannot fly. Then we can say air also helps in the dispersal of seed and pollen of the flowers of several plants. So we can say air plays an important role in water cycle. That is very important. Now one thing also important, that compressed air. Compressed air is also used in the brakes of train, for filling of balloons and tires, and also in machines used for digging. Have you ever seen that some in balloons also air is there? In tires of the vehicle also we need to fill air. So compressed air is used in the brakes of train for filling of balloons and tires, and also in machines used for digging. After that, the movement of air helps in winnowing. That also you have learned in earlier. For example, separation of husk from grains. So many uses are there. Once more I am telling, there are various uses of air. Some uses I am telling. The atmosphere protects all living beings from the harmful effect of ultraviolet radiation of the sun. Then air helps in the transmission of sound waves. Without air we cannot hear. Many string instruments are wind based. Then air helps in the movement of parachutes, aeroplanes, sailboats and gliders. Moving air also helps in the dispersal of seeds and pollen grains. Air is used to run windmills. The vanes of the windmills are turned by the moving air, which in turn generates power, and this power is used to run various machines which work on electricity. For example, floor mills and machines used for drawing underground water. Then oxygen cylinders are used in hospitals. Then nitrogen is used for making fertilizers for plants. Then compressed air is used in the brakes of trains, for filling of balloons and tires, and also in machines used for digging. The movement of air helps in winnowing. For example, separation of husk from grains. So this is how these many uses of air. Some only I told here, but many uses are there. Think that uses of air, and you can make a list of uses of air. You find many uses are there. It means we can say that air is a very important for us, and above all, air plays an important role in water cycle. Don't forget, that is very important. Air plays an important role in water cycle. See, I told you that many uses of air, importance of air. So we must prevent that air and air pollution. So that everything I will explain in next video. Hopefully we'll meet you soon. Thank you.